Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. Happy to see so many people interested about Wormhole, what it is, and how you can integrate it into your own application. So my name is Martin Hoffman. I'm a developer relations engineer at Papermoon. Papermoon is a core contributor at Wormhole. We update all the documentation, we create tutorials, we help with the workshops, with the community. So yeah, we work very close together with all the Wormhole team. And today we're gonna be we're gonna see how to integrate the Connect widget into your own application. And also we're gonna see how the TypeScript SDK works. If you have any questions in the middle, feel free to ask. I'm gonna try to go back to the chat and see if everything's well. If I'm going too fast or anything, please feel free to share it. And I will go back to the chat all the time. I'll try to. So let's go. So what is Wormhole? I wanted to first recap briefly what Wormhole is. So here we have that Wormhole is a leading interoperability platform powering multi-chain bridges and applications at scale. So what does this mean? It means that nowadays we have so many blockchains, new blockchains coming up every day. And so what Wormhole tries to do here is to create a link, create a bridge between all of these blockchains, which work very differently because we have, I don't know, on one hand, we have EVM chains, we have Solana, we have Sui, which work in completely different ways. So we're trying to connect all of this so we can send messages cross-chain. And here is the most important thing. Sending messages means that we can send literally a message like hello world from one chain to another. We can send tokens from one chain to another. We can call functions from a smart contract in another chain. So we can do many different things using Wormhole. Currently, Wormhole covers more than 30 different blockchains. And here it's a very famous use case, which is the portal bridge. You probably heard about it. It's a common bridge, how to send tokens from one chain to another. It's very easy to use. And they are using the Wormhole Connect widget here. This is how it looks when you implement it into your application. So you select the source chain, which is from here, which is Ethereum. You connect your Ethereum wallet here. Then you choose the destination chain, which is Solana in this example. You connect that wallet as well. The Connect widget is going to help you connect your wallets. It's very easy, very straightforward. You select the amount that you want to send, and then you have different options on how to send those tokens to the other chain. It's very easy, very straightforward, and yeah, Portal Bridge, it's a great example of how easy it works. So let's go into Connect and how to integrate it. And literally, we're going to integrate it in 2 lines of code. If you don't want to do anything else, if you don't have much experience with Web3 or whatever, you can just copy and paste these 2 lines, and you will have the widget ready to use in your own app. So any questions until here? Okay, perfect. Let's move on. So what is Wormhole Connect? As I mentioned, it's a React widget that we add into our own application. It can be very easy. You just copy and paste those 2 lines and it's going to be ready to use. Or you can also customize it. You can change the UI, like the colors, the styling, the font. And you can also have like other type of customizations, like you can select specific RPC nodes that the widget that you want it to use. You can set specific chains. You don't want to cover all the Wormhole compatible chains. You just want to work with maybe Ethereum, Solana, and Sui, and that's it. And you can limit the amount of blockchains from your React app. It's very easy. And it also includes a gas drop-off on destination chain. This is something very cool, very interesting that Wormhole provides. So let's say we want to bridge tokens from Ethereum to Avalanche, for example. So this will take two transactions, one on the source chain, because we are sending tokens, and another one on the destination chain to redeem those tokens, right? So every transaction that you sign, it's going to cost you gas. And you will need to have native tokens on both chains to pay for that gas, right? So what Wormhole provides here, it's the option to just sign the transaction, and the Wormhole relayer will take care of all the rest of the transaction. It will complete the transaction for you on the destination chain. So you won't need to sign the transaction or anything. The transaction, after a few seconds, is going to be ready for you. This is very easy for users if you don't want to interact on the destination chain. Maybe it's a new, you want to send tokens to bridge token to a chain that you never interacted with. You don't have native tokens on that blockchain. So this is an amazing option if you're in that case. Here we have 3 examples of different platforms that use the Connect widget. We have Jupyter, PancakeSwap, which is very famous, and as I showed you before, we have also a Portal Bridge. So yeah, let's jump into the demo on how to interact, connect into our applications. Any questions here so far? Everything good? Perfect. All right. Let me know if I'm going too fast. Maybe sometimes I don't realize, but yeah, I think this is very straightforward how to do it. So for the demo today, we're gonna use the Scaffold-ETH framework for quickly launching a dApp. I chose this option because it's very easy with just a few scripts. You will have the template for an app that you can run, and you can see in localhost how it looks, and we can play with it. We'll do it now. So this is the page, the Scaffold-ETH. I highly recommend it. You just copy this script that you have here, npx create, and this is our terminal. Here, there's nothing. We're gonna paste it here. And it's gonna ask us for the name of the project. Let's say Encode Connect demo. It's gonna ask us if we want to use Hardhat, Foundry, or none of this. These first 2 options is in case we are interacted with smart contracts. We're not gonna do that for this project, but it's pretty cool. It's giving you the option to do that. So for now, it's none, and we wait for it to be created. In the meantime, I highly recommend to go into the documentation. We have everything ready here. If you go to build multi-chain transfers, we have all the Wormhole products here and how to integrate them into your own application. We have the Connect UI widget, an overview. And as you can see here, if we scroll down, here are the simple steps on how to integrate it into your application. It's very easy. On the left-hand side, we also have the different configurations that we can have. We can change the theme, the styling. We will cover this shortly, but it's pretty cool. We have everything here, very easy to access. So yeah, our application is ready. Let's install all the dependencies. Okay. Oh, sorry. We need to change code yarn install. Good. Now we're gonna install. We're gonna add into our application the Wormhole Foundation package, the Wormhole Connect package actually, so we can import it into our application and add it there. So we install it. Let me know if the terminal it's too small for you, if you don't see what I'm doing. Let's see the chat. It's all good. Okay. Let's wait for a few seconds. Good. We have it ready. And okay, let's take a look at what it looks like. And let's run it actually. Again, start. Yeah. Okay, it's up and running in localhost. So if we go to localhost here, it's gonna take a few seconds to render, but we should be able to see the basic template of our front end. Yeah, kind of zoom in a little bit. So this is the basic template that we created with Scaffold-ETH. If we go to packages, Next.js, application, and page, this is the landing page that we should be able to see in localhost here. This is our page. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna integrate the connect widget in this landing page and see how it looks and play a little bit with it. So here we need to import it. Import whole connect from, yeah, perfect, the package that we installed. And now we need to add this element into the landing page. I'm gonna add it maybe here. And that's it. We imported Wormhole Connect from the package that we installed, and we added the element here into the body. So perfect, it already rendered, and here it is, the Wormhole Connect. It's ready to be used. As you can see, we can select the from chain. We have all of these different chains that Wormhole works with. We can select any one that we like. Now it's not giving me the option to select ETH because I don't have any ETH in my wallet. As you can see, it automatically connected to my wallet because I previously did. But if not, it's gonna ask you, okay, what wallet do you want to connect? And you select the one. Then you can select the target chain as well. Solana, for example, the coin, and that's it, the amount. It's very easy to use. It's already here. So yeah, we already did all of this. We added the element into our application. And we can now start playing a little bit with it. So as you can see on the right side, I changed like the styling colors here for orange, so we can see the difference. So let's try to do that in our end. So we have the element here. We need to add here a new object with the theme for this. So this is how we're gonna do it. We need to create the theme object, and we have different parameters that we can add to that theme. For example, the mode, it could be light or dark. The primary color of the widget, this is orange. And then we need to add the theme into the element here. And that's it. It's gonna show like how it looks. So I have this cheat sheet here. I'm gonna copy and paste it there. So it's the same as we have in the presentation, dark mode, primary color, it's orange. And we just add it here. We specify it's gonna be the theme, and that's it. It should render on this side, it's orange. So the main button here, it's gonna be orange. If we select different chains, now the color is orange as well, which is pretty cool, very easy. Once again, if we go to the documentation, if we go to the connect widget and we go to configuration theme, we have this very helpful table with all the different parameters that we can add to the theme object. And we can play with this and see how we can adapt this connect widget into our own styling, our own application style. We have all the options here. So yeah, it's pretty cool. We have it ready. Moving on, as I mentioned before, I think we can add a configuration into the connect widget as well. In this case, for example, I want the widget only to work with Ethereum, Polygon, and Solana. That's it. Because if we go right now to our bridge, we see that we have this huge list of blockchains. Maybe we don't want all of them. We just want the 3 that we have here, Ethereum, Polygon, and Solana. Perfect. So I have the cheat here. I'm gonna copy it and I'm gonna paste it here the same way as we did with the theme. This type, I need to import it from Wormhole. As you can see, I import it from the package that we installed. I define it here, and it's the same thing for the config. We add it to the element on the bottom. Config, and that's it. Right now, if we go to our front end, we should see only those 3 options. Let's hope it does. And yeah, we only have Ethereum, Solana, and Polygon because that's what we told it. Okay, just use these 3 blockchains. We select Ethereum, for example, and then on the source chain, we only have these 2 options because we're not going to bridge from Ethereum to Ethereum. So we have these 2 options left to select. Very easy, straightforward. And it's also here on the documentation as well. If you go to data, get started, and we have all these different configurations that we can specify the tokens, we can specify like the RPC nodes that we want to add. Let's do that. For example, we copy this, we add the RPCs to the configuration, and that's it. Now, like our bridge, if we want to bridge from Ethereum to Solana, for example, is gonna use these specific RPC endpoints to complete the transactions. If we don't tell Wormhole what RPC nodes to use, it's gonna use some Wormhole default RPC nodes. But it's pretty cool that you can define it and customize it, like adapt it to your own application. This is something that we can't see on the front end because it's happening in the back when we create a transaction, but you can trust that it works that way. Yeah, here we have it, all the RPC nodes. Yeah, and finally, if you're not using React, you can use a hosted version of the Connect widget. So you just need to copy and paste this code that we have here into your HTML body, and that's it. You're gonna have it ready in your application as well. And again, if you go into the Wormhole docs, and if you go to overview, here you have how to implement it in React and how to implement it in your hosted version. You have all the options here. So yeah. And I think that's all for the Connect widget. I don't know if you have any questions, if it was clear. Okay, yes, we have. Is Hardhat or Foundry? In this case, we're not using Hardhat or Foundry for the Connect widget. Everything is taken care of. We don't need to directly interact ourselves with the smart contracts. So yeah, Wormhole was spelled wrongly. I don't know where Wormhole was spelled wrongly. Wormhole. Oh yeah, here it worked perfectly. I didn't have any errors, but yeah, maybe I didn't see in the slides somewhere. Oh, step RPC for each chain. Now, in this case, you have the option to choose only one RPC per chain. But I'm not 100% sure. Maybe you can customize it more to have more RPC nodes. That's it. That's a good question, actually. Yeah. I'm not sure why do you want me to go back to the steps where I choose Hardhat or Foundry. This step, it's from Scaffold-ETH. It's just to set up your template to deploy this quick dApp. So you just go into this website, Scaffold-ETH, you copy this, you put it on your terminal, and it's going to ask you the name of project. And then if you want to use Hardhat, if you want to use Foundry, or if you don't need any of those for your application, just choose none, and that's it. In this case, we don't need it, so that's why I chose none. Okay, perfect. All right. So yeah, let's go to the Wormhole TypeScript SDK for 1 second. So the plan for today is to have an overview of what the SDK is about, the utilities, all the features that it has. We're going to touch different wormhole concepts. For today, I chose two types of transactions, of transfers that we can interact with the SDK, which I think are very important and very widely used. It's good to know. We're going to see how to track these transactions, how to redeem the transactions on the destination chain, how to install the SDK, and we're going to have a hands-on demo on how to bridge tokens from Avalanche to Sepolia in this case. So, so the SDK, it's a modern TypeScript SDK to help you make your dApp multi-chain. So in my opinion, it's like the Connect widget is if you want to start very fast and have your own Web3 application, it's a great option. With just a few steps, you can have the bridge ready to be used. The SDK, it's a little bit more abstract. It's a little bit more complex, I would say. And it's perfect if you want to integrate Wormhole into your already existing dApp. So the features that it has, it's like a universal API across all chains. It has flexible signers. It supports all type of transfers. And yeah, as I just mentioned, like Connect is for plug and play, while TypeScript SDK is for integrating Wormhole into your existing dApp. Chain context. So this is a good concept related to the SDK. So we have the option, as you can see, well, let me 1 second. You can select specific blockchains that you're going to be interacting with, like the source chain and the target chain. And then like Wormhole is going to bring for you all the information that you need to complete the transfer. So you call a specific method to get the chain context, and it's going to get you the chain ID. It's going to get you what RPCs we can use for that particular blockchain. It's going to get us like all the smart contract addresses that we need for different type of transactions. It's going to get everything for us. So we don't need to go into the documentations and look, okay, I want to transfer tokens using the token bridge to this specific chain. I need to look for the smart contract address. You don't need to do any of that. Wormhole is going to do it for you. And that's why we call this chain contexts. So this is how we do it. We define a constant called source chain, for example, and we call the get chain, in this case, Avalanche. So it's going to bring everything, all the information, relevant information that we need to know, that Wormhole needs to know about Avalanche to generate any kind of transaction. Same with the target chain. In this case, we selected Solana. It's going to get everything for Solana. Here we say that the chain context also includes an RPC client and can be accessed using this method, get RPC. So here we define source chain. Now if we do, for example, source chain dot get RPC, and we call that function, it's going to give us the RPC node that it's using for Avalanche. Of course, this is something that you can change if you want. You're free to do it, but it's pretty cool. Like it brings everything for you. So the token bridge. The token bridge, it's a protocol. It's a product for Wormhole to transfer. It's like the standard way of transferring tokens, of bridging tokens multi-chain. So we can call this method get token bridge for the source chain, for example. Okay, we already defined the source chain that is going to be Avalanche, and now we're going to call this method. This method is going to bring the chain ID, all the smart contract addresses, everything that we need related to the token bridge. So here on the right, I added a screenshot of what token bridge brings. Okay, so it's going to tell us, okay, you're using testnet. It's going to be Avalanche. This is going to be the RPC node that we're going to use. All the smart contract addresses that we need to know. Also the chain ID, which is very important. So this is all the information that Wormhole is going to be using in the back. You don't need to, you can use the SDK and never see this. This is just for curiosity of what this is bringing. But Wormhole is going to take all this information for you and it's going to interact and get the transaction completed for you. Another important thing to mention are addresses. So as I mentioned, Wormhole works with EVM chains, it works with Solana, it works with Sui, and all of these different platforms, they have different addresses. So what Wormhole does is it standardizes all these addresses into 32 bytes, and this is called as universal addresses. We're gonna see an example now. For example, so these abstractions allows the SDK to work with addresses in a consistent way, regardless of the underlying chain. So this is what it does. For example, I created this ETH address here, and this is a typical address that you can easily create, for example, with MetaMask. And we specify this is an Ethereum address. Perfect, very common one. And now we're gonna use the method to universal address, and Wormhole is gonna convert this address into a 32-byte address. And as you can see, it's the same address, but with a bunch of zeros at the beginning. And that's a universal address. For Solana, for example, I use this other address, which is created by Phantom. This is how it usually looks like. And I also call the universal address method here. In the end, we have this encoded 32 bytes universal address for Wormhole. This is the address that Wormhole is going to be interacting with. Other very useful method that you can use with the SDK is, for example, to get the decimals. Every blockchain has specific token decimals that they use. For example, if you interact a lot with tokens from different chains, you might know, in the back of your mind, you already know that, I don't know, for example, Avalanche has 18 decimals, Solana has 9, but it's good to have easy access to this information. So Wormhole gives you access to that very easily. You just call get decimals, you specify the token chain and the token address, and that's it. For example, it's gonna be get decimals of Avalanche, and you here add the token address of that particular token on Avalanche, and it's gonna tell you, okay, it's 18 decimals. So this is another very cool thing that you can use to, I don't know, quick access to decimals. Now, manual versus automatic. This is a very important concept that we need to cover. But first, are there any questions so far? Sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna share this presentation with you later. No problem with that. Okay. Let's give a second. Okay. All right. Please feel free to stop me, to slow me down or anything. I don't know if I'm going too fast. I know it's a lot of concepts, but I hope this is all making sense to you. So manual versus automatic, this is very important. I think I briefly explained a little bit what this is about at the beginning of the presentation. So let's go back to the example when we transfer tokens from, let's say, Ethereum. We transfer ETH from Ethereum to Avalanche. We will need two transactions for this. We need the first transaction to sign on the source chain on Ethereum to send those tokens. And then we will need another transactions on the target chain to redeem those tokens, to get those tokens, okay? That would be the case for manual transactions. The user will need to sign twice, and the user will need to have native tokens on both chains to pay for gas. For example, in Ethereum, he will need to have ETH to pay for that, to sign that transaction, to send tokens. And on Avalanche, that user will need to have AVAX to pay for the gas to redeem those tokens. That's that's the main logic of how manual transactions work. And you can do that with the TypeScript SDK. Then automatic transactions, it's pretty easy. It's like you just sign the transaction on the source chain and that's it. You don't need to sign the transaction on the destination chain. We have like wormhole relayers that are gonna take care for you to pay for the gas on the target chain. So you need to specify when sending tokens, I want this to be an automatic transfer. So the wormhole relayers already know that, and it's gonna be very cheap for you. You will still be paying for the transaction on the target chain, but you will be using funds from the source chain to pay for that. So I mentioned before, like, let's say you're interacting with a new blockchain where you don't have native tokens, and that new blockchain is the target chain. You don't have any tokens there. You can't pay for gas there. So it would be a great option to use the automatic transfers. So let's say you're sending AVAX to that blockchain. You say, okay, take this amount of AVAX and use it as gas on the target chain to pay for the gas. And the wormhole relayer is going to do that for you. Here on the right, we have this screenshot from the portal bridge, which is, again, the connect widget. And the connect widget allows us to select between these different options. The last option is a manual option, clearly, because it is telling us we're sending tokens to Avalanche, and it says this transfer requires 2 transactions. You will need to make 2 wallet approvals and have gas on the destination chain. This is what I just explained. If it's going to be manual, you need to have gas on the destination chain. Then we have this first option here, which is clearly an automatic transaction. It's not telling you anything. You just need to pay for this transaction here, and that's it. And it's even asking us, do you need more gas on Avalanche? If in case you don't have, you have this toggle here, you click it, and here, this is how it looks when you click that toggle. You have this slide to choose between how much gas do you want to send to the destination chain. In this case, it says Solana because this is another example. We're sending tokens to Solana. Solana is the target chain, but it's very easy. You should slide this and choose the amount of tokens that you want to send. So let's cover the 2 type of transfers that Wormhole has. Let's see if we have any questions so far. Luis is typing, which strategic is cheaper or expensive? It depends. It's not that automatic is going to be more expensive or the other way around. It depends on the time. It depends on the blockchain. Sometimes even automatic transactions are cheaper than manual. So there's no rule for that. It depends. Yeah. So, okay. So the first option, token transfer, is the standard Wormhole transfers. It's what we've been talking about all this time. It's like token bridge. You're sending token multi-chain to different chains from Ethereum to Solana, like as we can see in this image below. And then we also have circle transfer, or it's also called Circle CCTP, cross-chain transfer protocol. We're going to cover this now, but it's good to know that we have these 2 different options. So the token transfer, this is how it looks when we use the SDK to transfer tokens cross-chain. We will need to define these different parameters in order to initiate the transaction. So we need to add the token that we want to send. This will be a token address. We need to define the amount that we're sending. We need to define the source address, the destination address. If we want it to be automatic or manual transaction, okay. And then we can also send the payload. This is very interesting. We're not going to touch much on payloads today, but you can also send a message in the transaction. It could be literally like a string, like hello from one chain to another, or you can also specify to to call a specific function from a smart contract on the destination chain. Like this could get very complex if you want to. So it's a very cool thing to do, but it's completely optional. And then finally, we have the delivery, the native gas. In case the transaction is automatic, this is where we're going to define how much gas do we want to send to the destination chain. If this is 0, it means that we have gas on the destination chain, and so it's all good. We don't need to send any. And in case we don't have any gas on the destination chain, we just tell here how much do we want to send, and that's it. Then for the Circle transfer, so Circle, they are the ones behind the stablecoin USDC. You probably heard about it. It's like well adopted. And they are present in so many different blockchains. So why is this important? Usually when we send tokens, let's say not USDC, right? We are sending native tokens. We're sending ETH from Ethereum to Avalanche. Usually when that happens, when we bridge ETH from Ethereum to Avalanche, we're going to get a wrapped version on the target chain. It's not going to be a native ETH on Avalanche because it's not native from Avalanche. But what Circle does here is that they minted USDC tokens in so many different blockchains, and all of these USDC are native, are like, native tokens on these blockchains. So when we use CCTP and we are sending, for example, the USDC from Ethereum to Avalanche, on the target chain on Avalanche, we're going to be receiving USDC, native USDC tokens. We're not going to be receiving a wrapped version of those USDC. So this is something very cool that that Wormhole integrates into your application. It's very easy to use as well. And this is how it looks when you do it through the SDK. You need to specify the amount that you want to send, the address on the source chain, the address on the destination chain. If you want it to be an automatic transaction, if you want to have a payload, in this case, it's going to be undefined, and the native gas. If you need on the destination chain, you can specify how much do you want to send. What's the difference between this and the normal standard transfer that we just shared before, this different slide? It's the first parameter. Here we need to tell them what token we want to send. It could be any. It could even be USDC, and we have the token address of USDC here. But in this case, the CCTP transfer, we don't need to specify the token because implicitly we are going to be transferring USDC to another chain. Any questions between those two transfer types? Any links or documents? Yeah, as I mentioned before, I highly recommend to use the documentation here, the Wormhole docs. You have CCTP here, CCTP bridge. You have all the information that you need to know here. And we even have like a tutorial here on the top menu. We set tutorials. We go to Wormhole SDK, and we have a tutorial specifically for CCTP. We are actually be using this tutorial for today. We're going to use it and see how it works. So the docs, we have everything here. Send the link to the docs. Okay, this is the link to the docs. For example, the tutorial. Perfect. Okay. Another very cool thing to have in mind. So when you're transferring, interacting with all these different blockchains, transferring tokens, playing even in testnet, maybe you want to know like all the details about these transactions. So you have Wormhole Scan. It's Wormhole's Explorer, where you can go and search for any transaction where a wormhole took place. So let's say we use the token bridge or even the portal bridge. We can paste the transaction hash into the Wormhole Scan, and we can see all the details. the status, if it's completed, the time when it started, when it was completed, from what chain to what chain, in this case, Solana to Base, the amount of token that were sent, what token was even sent, the protocol that it used. In this case, we see that it was Portal Bridge. And we have different tabs where we can see different details about this transaction. On the right side, we can see like all the steps that took place for the transaction to be completed. So when we create a transaction in Wormhole, a BAA message will be created, and it will be sent to the guardians. The guardians are like validators, right? They are nodes. And the guardians are going to check that BAA, which contains all the transaction information, they're going to check that everything's correct, that it's valid. Once they say that it's valid, they're going to send that BAA to the destination chain. And once it arrives to the destination chain, you will need to redeem that BAA so the transaction gets completed. So here we have all the different steps. As you can see in the middle, it says BAA signed by the Wormhole guardians. Perfect, it was signed. Then it needs to be sent to Base, which is the target chain. It was executed and the transfer was completed. And we even have the time when that happened. So it's pretty cool to use. I highly recommend it. Recovering transactions. So if you follow me until here, you will know that you need to recover transactions, which is the same as redeem transactions, if you are using manual transactions. For automatic transactions, you don't need to care about this. But if it's a manual transaction, you can redeem it using the SDK, full code. You can easily do that. I'm going to show you today how to do it. Or you can also use the Portal Bridge, which has a very beautiful UI. As you can see here, this is a screenshot where you select redeem, you specify the source chain, the transaction hash, and that's it. You click on this recover, and that's it. It's gonna connect to your, if you're using, for example, MetaMask, it's gonna connect to MetaMask. You need to sign the transactions, and you will redeem those tokens on the destination chain. Again, you will need to have native tokens on the destination chain to pay for that transaction, to redeem those tokens. But it's a very easy, straightforward way to do it with a beautiful UI. You don't need to touch any code here. Okay, let's go into the demo. Do we have any questions before we jump into the demo? To optimize gas. In what way would you like to optimize gas? To like spend the less gas possible? Do you mean like you can always specify the amount of gas that you want to use, but yeah, it's not gonna. Sometimes like you send gas to the destination, to the target chain, and you're like, okay, send $5 to the destination chain. But maybe the transaction was cheaper than that. It's not going to use the $5. It's a balance that you will still have on the destination chain. Wormhole is not gonna keep that balance for themselves. Okay. A way to optimize it through Wormhole, I'm not sure. Like, I don't think you can. So that the bridging cost as less as possible. It depends on the blockchain. That's something I think out of Wormhole's scope in a way. It depends on the time, the blockchain that you're interacting with. Okay, I'm gonna go into the demo very quick with the TypeScript SDK. Perfect. We're gonna clone this repository and install all the dependencies. So as I mentioned before, if we go to the documentation, we go to tutorials, and we select Wormhole SDK, transfer USDC via CCTP bridge. This is the tutorial that we're gonna be using today. You have all this step-by-step here on how to do it yourself. But if you wanna go straight into the code, you can click on the source code on GitHub. which is this one. And this is what we're going to be using. So this is done, the connect. We're going to close this. We're going to go back. And git clone CCTP. Perfect. Change directories, demo CCTP transfer. Okay, perfect. Here we are. Let's see how it looks. And let's install the dependence. Okay, let's see first. I always like to check. Let me know if it's too small. I like to check the package JSON before I install dependencies, because as you can see here, there is a new version of the SDK. This is very outdated. So let's change it to 1.14.1. This is the latest version of the SDK. So now, yeah, we are ready to install all the dependencies. Okay, while we wait, let's see what we have here. We have automatic transfers and manual transfers here. For automatic transfers, it's a very short code. We don't need to do much here because we don't need to redeem anything on the destination chain. As you can see, we define that it's going to be testnet. We define what platforms do we want to use. In this case, I'm going to remove Solana because we're not going to be using it today, just because of that. No Solana. I have tokens on Avalanche and Sepolia, so that's why I chose these two. So we get the context, as I explained before. And then from that context, we're going to get the signers. For the signers, we need to include our private key where we have the funds, okay? So this is something we're going to be doing next. But we're going to define the amount that we want to send. If the transaction is going to be automatic or false or manual. In this case, it's true, so it's going to be automatic. And the amount of native gas if we want to send to the target chain, if we need to. Okay, this is the object that we saw in the presentation. So since this is a CCTP transfer, we don't need to specify token address because it's going to be USDC. So we define the amount, the source address, destination address, if it's manual or automatic, payload, in this case, is going to be undefined, and native gas. And that's it. Here below, we initiate the transfer, and that's all you need to do, okay? So we have the environment variables here. This is an example. We need to create the actual end file, and we are going to have our ETH private key for this demo, which I have it here. This one. Copy, and we paste it here. Perfect. So this is our private key. It's ready. We have this here. We already installed all the dependencies. And here under scripts, we can see all the different scripts that we have. So we want to run this file, which is the automatic transfer, which is this one. So we need to run npm run circle auto. Circle auto. And let's see if it works. The transaction started. Perfect. It's ready. We can see the status of this transaction on Wormhole scan. Let's do that to see how it works. So we are on the Wormhole scan here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit because it's too small. Please always remember to choose testnet here if you're using testnet or mainnet, because if you look for testnet transactions on mainnet, you're not gonna find it. It happened to me many times and many different developers as well. So we paste the transaction here to see how it goes, and here we have it. It's telling me you're sending from Fuji, which is the testnet network for Avalanche, to Sepolia. These are the addresses. We're sending 1 USDC. And yeah, all the details are here. If we go to advanced, we have all like more details on what's going on, the payload and everything. And we can check the progress. So the transaction was initiated, everything's good. We sent 1 USDC. It was signed by the Wormhole guardians, and now it's pending the execution in Sepolia. This could take a few seconds or minutes. It depends on the network, but everything looks good here. This is something really cool as well. Like if you're sending a random token that you don't have on MetaMask, it's giving you the option to add it very easily to your account. It's something silly, but very useful sometimes. Okay, so that's how you run an automatic transfer. Let's see how manual transfers work now. Any questions so far? Do we get to watch this session later? I think it will be recorded and shared on the internet. I don't know what platform, but yeah. Oh yeah, Adriana already replied to you. Perfect. No questions. Okay. So something important, always remember that if you're using different platforms like Solana, Sui, Aptos, you will need to specify it here at the beginning, right? So if you're using, for example, Sui, you will need to import Sui as well. So you import it like this, Sui from Sui, it's a package, and we need to add it here as well. Same goes for Aptos, same goes for all the different platforms that we have, okay? So today it's just gonna be EVM, but yeah, it's good to know. And if you're doing mainnet, you just type mainnet here and that's it. It's gonna work for you. It's gonna be testnet. We're gonna send from Avalanche to Sepolia. Perfect. So the beginning, it's all the same, but now automatic is gonna be false because it's gonna be a manual transaction, meaning again, that we need to redeem the tokens on the destination chain. So circle transfer here, let's hide this so we have better look at everything. So the circle transfer is here. We need to set the amount, source address, destination address, and if the transaction is going to be automatic or manual, we can also define the payload if you want to send and the gas. In this case, we're not going to send any payload. We're not going to send any gas to the destination chain, so we're going to just leave it like this, simple. Then we're going to initiate the transfer. We're going to fetch the attestation. We're going to wait until we get the attestation, meaning that the BAA was validated by the guardians. We're going to wait until that happens. And once that happens, we're going to complete the transfer on the destination chain. That's why at the end, we're calling complete transfer with the destination signer. On the other example that we just did, the automatic transfer, we never used a destination signer, as you can see. We only use this source signer, and that's it on the source chain. For the manual, at the end, we complete the transfer with that signer. And yeah, that's it. So the logic is like you're gonna sign the transaction on the source chain. The guardians are going to approve that BAA, which is we're gonna wait for that attestation. And once we have it, once we know that it's valid, we're gonna redeem it on the destination chain. So let's try it out and see how it works. So the script for that is in the package JSON. It's a circle manual. This is what we need to run. npm run circle manual, and let's hope it works. Take a few seconds. Okay, transaction started. Completing transfer. Okay, so it got an attestation here, as we can see. There was an attestation, and that's it. The transaction is complete. Now it's very cool because it's going to share with us the different transaction hashes. So if we go to the Avalanche Explorer and we look for this transaction, we're going to find it there. Like, okay, yeah, this amount of USDC was sent to this smart contract, which is a Wormhole smart contract. And then if we go to Sepolia, we're also going to find the redeem, like the transaction to redeem those tokens on Sepolia. Let's look it up and see if this is happening. This is the Sepolia Explorer. Let's paste that transaction hash. And yeah, it's a successful, and we have all the details here about that transaction that we sent 0.1 USDC from here to here. And yeah, everything looks fine. So the transaction was completed. Perfect. Let's go back. Any question on how the demo worked? Does this cost this much in mainnet also? What do you mean that it costed so much? It depends. We can even see in Wormhole Scan like how mainnet transactions are doing, like if that's something that we want to look at. We can go to transactions here on the Explorer, we click mainnet, and we see all these different transactions that are live taking place right now. So for example, there was one from this, let's take this one, from Solana to Optimism. And we can even check how much gas they spent. For Solana, it was like this amount of gas, which is, in my opinion, like almost nothing. It's just a little bit of gas. It's not much. Usually it's not that much amount of gas. They are simple transactions. As I said before, it depends on the time when you're doing the transaction, the network, so many different variables. But yeah, for example, this transaction is quite cheap, in my opinion. Any DEXs that have adopted Wormhole? Yeah, we do have. If we go to documentation, we have use cases, Wormhole use cases here. This is something also cool if you want to explore later. You have all these use cases where they are using Wormhole. So this is DEX, the first one, Stella Swap. They use Wormhole, and it's telling us what Wormhole products they are using. In this case, they're using Wormhole Connect, what we saw today, Entity, which is a very cool product that we have, and queries to fetch information. But yeah, there are probably, different other DEXs here. There is one, there's this other DEX here, Perpetual. This is another DEX, which is using Wormhole. So yeah, you can take a look at all these use cases to get ideas as well of different projects and how to apply it if you want. Yeah, you have Portal Bridge as well. Yeah. Yeah. The fees is something that we can control. Like usually if it's gonna be an Ethereum network, it's gonna be a little bit more expensive. Yeah, depending on all of these different variables. That's true. So yeah, these are the two commands that we run. And yeah, this is just some resources if you need Faucet, if you need tested tokens to play with all these products. Also, like I'm gonna say it again because I think it's very complete, all the documentation, not because we did it, but if you go to the Faucet, we have a testnet Faucet page where you can find all the different blockchains and the official Faucets where you can get testnet tokens. So this is another resource that we have here. And yeah, the Wormhole Scan, as I showed you before, it has like all this different information. Like it's pretty cool to watch, like how all the flow of transactions from one chain to another. Like Solana, it's sending this amount of money to Ethereum. This is all mainnet. Then you can choose Ethereum. It's like most of the transactions are from Ethereum to Solana. Then in second place you have Base. Then you have Sui. The total volume of transactions per product. This is CCTP, what we just did on the demo. This is the amount of total value that you're moving. So in the last 24 hours, there are so many like different data that it's interesting to look at if you want on Wormhole Scan. It's very complete. And yeah, where to go next. If you're interested in all of these products, you can go to the docs. You have different tutorials to play with. There is another tutorial as well for sending transactions using the token bridge, not CCTP, but it's very similar to what we did today. You can go to the Wormhole's GitHub. You have Wormhole Scan, and you can join Discord to talk with the community, to see all the questions there. It's good. So I think that's all for today. Thank you for joining, and yeah.
Thank you very much, Martin. That was super informative, yeah, and really detailed. And thank you guys also for asking questions and being engaged. I hope you all enjoyed that. Yeah, that is basically all from us. If anyone has some last minute questions, feel free to kind of pop them in the chat now, or as Martin said, join the Wormhole Discord and kind of like engage with the community there. Yeah, I hope to see you guys at the next Wormhole Educate session, which I believe is next week. And yeah, thank you, Martin, again for that wonderful workshop. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Yeah, and I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for joining.
Bye. Bye-bye.